Well, welcome everybody. This is Commander Ramsey coming to you live with another video. I've decided to pull one of the old tech tree ships out of the port and play her. And I'll show you my commander build at the end, which is quite unique. I'm using one of the seasoned commanders that you can get in the armory. And you'll see how he benefits somewhat in the game. I do have the Bismarck set up somewhat as a secondary build ship. You notice this is a T9 or Tier 9 game with a couple of Tier 7 ships involved. I used the World of Warships mod station, and then you can see a whole lot more data. I don't use my videos for monetary gain, so I don't worry about showing the other players' names and their clans. I do this strictly for fun. Alright, I've decided to move off here to the ACAP, which typically means the enemy team will probably show up somewhat in force over there. Historically, I've noticed teams, majority of the time, they tend to go left. Our team is not. That's why I've decided to go in that direction. I've got good cruiser and destroyer coverage. That way I think I can take full advantage of the battleship characteristics of the old Bismarck. Just an FYI, I do use, try to always use a bluish camo to try to blend in with the sea background. Of course, you never know if you're going to get a dark colored sea or one of the Caribbean seas, which is much lighter blue, turquoise. So you'll notice the camo I use on the ship is multicolored blue. I think it does have some benefit on real camo. Mathematically it does not in the game, but there you can get a good shot of the multicolored blue. Hopefully it helps a little bit on the enemy team trying to find your citadel. I actually have to pay a little bit for that camo each time I use it, since I've used up all the freebies. Well, anyway, it looks like both teams are equally taking the available cap zones. The two CVs in the game, the Lexington and the Russian Pobeda, are both very good aircraft carriers for their tier. I've encouraged our CV player to keep putting torps down and run the destroyer out of the cap zone A, or whatever he's got available. He's got torpedoes this time, so I think he does that and has some success. I do play CVs occasionally. My eyes prohibit me from playing them a lot, unfortunately. I've got problems with double vision when I move my eyes, so you can see the movement on an airplane really causes issues, but I still enjoy playing them. But I like to play other ship classes as well. I'm kind of a utility player for my clan for several years, which means kind of a jack of all trades, master of none. But ever since my diagnosis with neurological brain disease, I don't play as well as I used to. So the doctors want me to play to challenge the brains. That's why I keep playing, and I still have some fun. Now, one thing you notice here, I've activated the hydro because I knew the black has long distance torpedoes that move at the snail's pace. You can see I'm picking them up pretty good. I'm taking a little bit of a pounding here, but I've got a lot of other ships on my team around me, and I think we've got the red team on the retreat. I do have the Massachusetts over here to my left, which I'll eventually turn around here, but I think he gets a good hit on me. But Bismarck's got some pretty good citadel protection. And one thing you'll notice on my commander build, on my repair party, I actually do the special upgrade, so it goes out to 21 seconds, almost as good as an American battleship. Anyway, the Massachusetts is trying to peel off, but he's angled. We're trying to take the cap zone now. Trying to get in a few shots on the cruiser. He's a little bit exposed. I've been using my HE at this point to try to get fire started. My health is going down pretty considerably, so I decided, a little late, but I decided to turn into the Massachusetts. But stay in the fight because I've got a lot of strong team members here. At an angle, the Bismarck's quite strong. I'm setting a lot of fires in this game, you'll notice. I still have confidence I'm going to be okay here, so I back up a little bit. We've captured the cap zone. Massachusetts still sitting there hoping to get me, but I got bad news for him. That's not going to happen. Try to get on a few other good shots on the Massachusetts. I'm trying to get to a point where he's kind of behind the island and I'm a little better protected since my health is getting a little bit low. And I've got another enemy battle cruiser here off to my right. I'm getting good protection from our CB, which I certainly appreciated. And we've got this enemy battleship definitely outnumbered. He's probably wishing that he had tucked and run. We've got rid of the black and the European Tier 7, and their Tier 9 destroyer Kitakaze is on his last breath. Our Kitakaze is strong, so from a destroyer standpoint we're looking pretty good. I do take a pot shot at their Kitakaze here, and I get a little lucky there at long distance, so I toot my horn of victory there. Just a caution to you destroyer players playing that far out. You need to zigzag, just like they did in WW2. If you don't, then even a Bismarck, which is not very accurate in its main guns, can get lucky and get a shell in there on you, even at mid-range there. Bismarck's main battery guns are not the most accurate. Her secondaries are quite good. But I have a pretty good win rate in this thing. It's, I think it's got more to do with the unique commander, as I'm an average player at best. So I decided at this point, there's been a cruiser spotted up the middle in the canal. And I know what they typically do on this map. They'll tend to pull up there in section E6 and kind of hide just behind the islands as cover and try to cap that cap zone B. So I start heading over there. I've got my health built back up to about probably 40%. He's in a cruiser, and due to my wonderful mod station, that lightning bolt that hit the top of the island about gave me a heart attack there. That's one of the new upgrades that Wargaming has done. Their graphics department is top notch. You can say whatever you want to them about how they set up the rules and whatnot, but the graphics are quite awesome. I guess it hit a tree up there or a radio tower, I'm not sure which, but that about made me jump out of the chair. I get enough of those real life here living in the wonderful portion of south central Kentucky. Alright, I've decided to slow down here a little bit, thinking I might get a shot over the horizon there, but I think the storm moving in has reduced my visibility, which stinks. So I've decided to move off and try to get over into Cap Zone B as in Bravo, and to try to get prepared to take out this cruiser. I've noticed he does not have torpedoes due to my trusty mod station. I've got short-term memory problems and more than likely the beginning of dementia, so mod station helps me a lot. It's the only one really authorized by Wargaming, so don't say that the mod station is a cheat. It's actually not. It's just giving the data that's already in the game and already available on the Wargaming website. And it's handy for people like me who are now disabled. So I keep zooming in here, expecting the cruiser to pop out from behind the rock. I don't worry about using the hydro at this point, because I think he's probably just a little bit beyond 6 kilometers. And he doesn't have torpedoes, so I try to get myself at an angle a little bit. And there he is. I get a few shots in on him to weaken him substantially, and then I'll let my secondaries hone in on him. Now my goal here is to kind of veer away, making sure he doesn't have enough ammo to hit me, ram me, and sound the horn of victory once again, stopping his advance into the B cap. By this time I've already got my momentum headed toward the I believe it's the D cap, but unfortunately the enemy is taking the A cap back. I thought I was okay there because Kansas, he was at full health, but then I noticed all of a sudden there's a second ship popping up. But we still had the Lexington on that side of the map, so I was hoping maybe they could at least put some damage on them, but I decided at this point the best thing to do is to move over to the red zone and help my friendly here grab this D cap. We've got a good healthy lead. I just want to make sure that we didn't start seeing that deteriorate, because there's still over 7 minutes left to play. And in World of Warships, that's a long time. Games can change around fairly quickly. You notice our Kitakaze there has got 2 kills, and he's doing really well. And you notice how quickly we lost the Kansas, so I'm guessing he must have gotten torpedoed and citadeled at the same time. As the Duncan has torpedoes. I guess Kansas probably should have stayed a little further out, but this momentum may have already been carrying him forward. Alright, I noticed there's a call for help from our CV, so at this point I plan on hooking around the island. After getting the cap zone, that's going to build my XP in the game, which I'm always trying to build commander skills. And to do that, I have to get commander XP. And I'll show you at the end of the game how I've got my bonus flag set up. At this point, I'm going to head back to B. Figured with the poor rain, with the rain, that the poor visibility is going to help me as much as it is the Massachusetts. I wish the Wargaming guys would show on the map the reduced visibility. They'll show you in a little text message that'll pop up and then vanish. But at some point I tend to forget that, and looking on the graphics down below I don't see a storm, but apparently the lighter storms don't show up as a whiteout area on the map, only the heavier storms do. Our cruiser Flint is taking the other cap zone. So my goal here is, we've got a healthy lead, is to not get myself blown up, but at the same time get some shell shots in on the Massachusetts and prevent him from capping the B zone. I have the Massachusetts, and it's a very powerful ship. You cannot underestimate it. It's got very quick heal and repair, and if you set up the repair party correctly, you can get 28 or plus seconds on that rascal. So it can really tank you quite well. Fortunately, I've got my Bismarck set up quite well to tank. I decided to get the first shots off, maybe to get a fire started on him, since he's bow tanking in me. And this 16-inch guns are bigger than my 15s, but nonetheless I try to angle a little more here, but I'm trying to get my secondary guns to open up on him. Got a fire started on him. Got some defended ribbons now. My main objective is I'm preventing him from capping it. Fortunately, the enemy cruisers turned back, so I only had the Massachusetts to contend with. And thanks to my CE, they're helping me attacking him. I'm not sure if he hit him though, but nonetheless, I've activated my repair and my health to try to outlast him. The goal here is to outlast the Massachusetts. And I'm in pretty good shape at this point. Getting a lot of good secondary hits on him. Another fire. Massachusetts can heal very quickly, so I'm trying my best to keep all my guns on him and keep firing to prevent him from repairing too quickly on me. Another fire started and I got him. That was a good victory. I get a lot of games in the Bismarck over 100,000. Usually with tier 9 and occasionally tier 10. If you're not too greedy, you can play mid-range and keep yourself at a distance, but you need team support and to launch your fighter. But I didn't get a lot of attacks from the enemy CB that time, but I did get 2209 on the XP, which is quite a bit for a tier 8 in a tier 9 game. So that'll be helpful, and I'll show you what that means in terms of commander XP. I gave a friendly comment to the Massachusetts. He did all he could. And our Kitakazi. And that tier 7 destroyer, he did great. BSC clan. You got a good player there. Alright, here's the damage on the Valley Joe. I'm not pronouncing that right. I think that's Italian. You can see the secondary hits over 81, 23,000 damage, 5 fires. The Massachusetts secondary damage 17,000 and 3 fires. The Kitakazi, that pot shot I took at distance, I was able to get a couple main battery shots in on him. And the German battle cruiser, Zeiten, not much damage there. But overall, 9 fires. This game was more of a mid-range, close to mid-range game, which is unusual because a lot of battles are at distance, which is a disadvantage to the Bismarck. Particularly the way I've got mine set up with a fighter. because the Bismarck's main battery accuracy at distance is dismal at best. So you can see I got about 37,000 Commander XP, and that was due to the bonus flag builds and the extra XP I got on the ship and free XP. Free XP you can use to build your commander skills up as well. And I'll show you that build here in just a minute. I had 196 total secondary hits, which is actually quite good for a tier 9 game. There's my bonus flags. Let me show you the equipment build. Get a better view of the bonus flags over there. But here's that damage control party mod 1 I get. It does boost the repair out to 21 seconds for a German battleship, and that's quite good. Not as good as the Americans, but it's still helpful. And I do run the usuals here. Damage control system mod 2 and detection. I've got the fighter here, as most of the time I get attacked by CVs. You notice there 4.7 kilometers I get on the torpedo detection. That's pretty far out, and that's quite helpful. So I boost the hydro due to the commander skill. Here's the other signal flags I use. There's the Sierra Mike, and there's the helpful Sierra Bravo. And of course the rest of these are pretty standard on a battleship build for Germans. Here's your bonus flags, free 700 XP. There's your commander XP, 800% plus, which helps on that commander XP number. Here's my build for one of the Jutland brothers. They do get the added boost on consumable specialists, which is only helpful for the fighter here, but it's really helpful on the vigilance skill. That gets my torpedo action. That has saved me a lot from taking a full range of torpedoes. So I get a real good look-see out there. And built mine kind of for tankiness here. I didn't put the fire detection on it because simply I don't have this commander all the way out to 21 yet. I've been building him as he goes, and at some point I probably will put the fire protection on there, but I'm not there yet. Here's the Jutland brothers. Here's the other skills for cruisers, pretty non-existent. For destroyers, pretty non-existent. Submarines, nothing, and unfortunately aircraft carriers, nothing. So these guys are really built for some improvement on battleships. Not the best in the world, but that's where I've stuck mine.